If you've ever thought about visiting Montenegro, chances are you picture turquoise beaches, medieval towns, and long summer days by the Adriatic Sea.
But what if I told you Montenegro in winter may actually be one of the most underrated trips you can take in Europe?
It's quieter, cheaper, and honestly shows a completely different personality. In this video, we're breaking down everything you need to know before visiting Montenegro in winter. What the weather is really like, is anything closed during the winter, where to go, how to get around, and a few local tips to help you plan the perfect off-season trip.
As you can see from the timeline, we've divided the video into 5 short sections, but they are loaded with information, so if you need, grab a pen and paper and let's get started.
Let's start with the weather and the season in Montenegro. Winter in Montenegro officially runs from December to February, but honestly, it can start feeling cold by November. Majority of the most visited cities are in the coast, places like Kotor, Budva, Herceg Novi.
Here, temperatures sit around 10 to 15 degrees. It's usually a mix of rain, clouds, and the occasional sunny day. Don't be surprised if you don't see any tourists, especially during winter. That's the beauty of Montenegro. And don't get me wrong, the sea looks stunning, but it's way too cold to swim.
Way too cold. The vibe is really quiet, cozy, and very local. It's a completely different energy that you would get if you went in the summer. Now, you can't really go to Montenegro without visiting places inland, like Dormitor National Park, Kolasin, or Zabjak, because you're suddenly in a completely different world. The temperatures can drop below zero and snow is guaranteed. And I'm not saying just a tiny drop of snow. It's so heavy that it can block remote roads in the mountains, and that's where you're gonna find the ski resorts, frozen lakes, and the classic winter wonderland views that are basically from a postcard.
Even Podgorica and smaller inland towns have mild weather, though personally we don't think they are as visually striking as the coast or the north. One thing that really surprised us when we visited Montenegro during the winter is how fast the weather changes. You can literally drive for 2 hours and go from sunshine and palm trees to a full-on blizzard.
Which means if you are planning to do a road trip, you need to pack for both seasons. But don't worry, we will talk about what you need to pack later in this video. Now, the next thing is one of the biggest questions that people have about visiting in the winter. What is actually open, if anything? Let's start with the coastal towns. After October, a lot of beach bars, clubs, and touristy restaurants will shut down for the season. And we definitely experienced this when we visited really popular beaches. They literally felt abandoned and pretty much like a ghost town. But don't worry, because of course there's gonna be plenty of local cafes, bakeries, and some really nice restaurants that will stay open, especially inside Kotor Old Town. And to be fair, I'd say that this pushes you to try local and more authentic food.
That's so true. Hotels often offer off-season deals. We remember paying for amazing hotels something ridiculous like 10 to 15 euros a night, which personally I feel like that's a bargain, especially in such a beautiful country like Montenegro. However, when it comes to national parks, depending where you go, it may impact your trip. Dormitor National Park is fully alive during winter, making it perfect for skiing, snowboarding, snowshoeing, and even hiking. That reminds me, we've done a video talking about top 10 things to do in Montenegro, and one of them is a beautiful hike you can do around the Black Lake. So we recommend you watching that video after this one.
Lovsen National Park, on the other hand, can have road closures due to snow, so it's more of a hit and miss. We remember when we entered Lovsen National Park and we didn't have to pay the 3 euros that it costs to enter the national park, which was really good. Although the bad thing is that the Niegos mausoleum was closed, but at least we still got to see the best views in Montenegro from up there.
I agree.
What about Lake Skadar? Most boat tours stop running, but it's still so stunning for photography or even bird watching. And I'm sure that if you really want to, you can always find someone that will be willing to offer a boat ride.
Cities like Podgorica don't really change, so shops, restaurants, nightlife, they all stay open. Though we don't really find it a necessary destination for people looking for that winter charm in Montenegro. Our biggest tip, always message your accommodation beforehand to check what's open or closed around the area.
This is where Montenegro really shines because it's small but incredibly diverse. Let's start with Kotor. In the winter, the old town feels almost empty, and that makes it so magical. You can wander through cobblestone streets that are usually packed in the summer, and if you're lucky, catch a morning fog rolling over the bay. On clear days, hiking up to the San Giovanni fortress gives you some of the best views in Europe, and you will probably have it all to yourself.
Budva, on the other hand, is quieter and has a bit more of a locals-only vibe. Some hotels even close for renovation, but the old town and Mogren Beach viewpoint are still beautiful. If you find a good winter deal here, it's a solid base for your day trips.
Then there's Dormitor National Park and Zaubjak, the ultimate winter escape. During the winter, these places are snow-covered forests, frozen lakes, and ski slopes. Even if you do ski or you don't, it's still an incredible place to rent a cozy wooden cabin and just enjoy the scenery. Remember that if you are into hiking, it's also a great way to explore the area.
I'm pretty sure that, for example, if you visit the Black Lake, you still have to pay the parking fee, but at least it's one of the few places where this will happen during winter. Kolasin is another great mountain option. It's home to Montenegro's main ski resort, smaller and cheaper than the Alps, but perfect for beginners. It's crazy because a one-day ski pass here costs only 25 euros.
That's probably one of the most affordable ski passes I have ever seen in my life.
It feels like a bargain.
And don't forget Cetinje and Lovsen National Park. Just the drive up to Niego's mausoleum is so breathtaking, but just make sure you check the road conditions first because it can be snowy and slippery.
There's a beautiful hotel in Cetinje that we stayed at, which is owned by a local and very friendly family. And we highly recommend it because it's really cozy, and to be fair, it was definitely worth the night.
It's called Apartmani Vulkanik, and we have left the link in the description in case you want to check it out. But if you do want something different, look for eco lodges or remote cabins in the mountains. They're often super affordable in the winter with fireplaces, insane views, and some even have heated up jacuzzis. I know this is gonna sound like a normal jacuzzi, but I mean, it's heated up with logs.
I'm not going to beg, but your support means the world. So if you are enjoying this video, please click the like button. But if you're not, please feel free to click the dislike button. There's a lot of work that goes into these videos, and your support means the world to us.
Getting around Montenegro in the winter is totally doable, but it helps to know a few things. Driving is definitely one of the best options if you want flexibility. The roads along the coast are open all year, but once you start to go north, snow becomes a factor. Between November and April, snow tires are actually mandatory, and you might also want chains if you're going to the mountain areas. To be fair, when we rented our car, it had already come with snow tires on, but when you rent your car, it should clearly state it in the website. Public transport still runs. There are buses between major towns, but the schedules will be reduced during the winter.
And there are no trains that go into the mountain towns like Sapshlai. So renting a car will be the best option if you want to explore more of Montenegro. In terms of airports,
Podgorica Airport, which is the main airport in Montenegro, stays active year-round. And that's going to be your best option for international arrivals. And just that important reminder, if you do rent a car, just make sure that it includes the winter tires and the proper mountain insurance. But if you don't want any issues, there is a platform we use to rent cars in Montenegro and, to be honest, anywhere that we travel to. It's called Keek, and it basically gathers all the best deals from the local car rentals into one place. It's very easy to use and makes dealing with insurance a lot easier too, because you know exactly what is covered.
Let's talk about one of the best parts of visiting Montenegro in winter, the prices. Off-season rates can easily drop by around 30 to 50%. So hotels in Kotor that were 120 euros in summer may just be 40 euros during the winter.
The same applies for apartments. You're gonna find cozy places with mountain views for a fraction of peak season prices.
Montenegro just sounds like the dream place.
And I'm sorry for bringing up all of our trip stories, but we just have to because that way we can set the scenario for you. For example, when we were looking at booking a place in the area around Dormitor National Park, we found this incredible place for just €1.
I remember.
I don't know if it was a mistake, but that was just the price that was showing. Restaurants also switched to local winter menus. Some things you can expect are soups, grilled meats, and of course, rakija, which is a strong fruit brandy typical in the Balkans.
Generally, the portions are really big and the prices are really good. Accommodation wise, it's super easy to book last minute as well, but one thing to note, some Airbnbs may charge extra for heating, so it's always best to just check the reviews and make sure that you know what you are paying for. We find that booking through booking.com is very easy and just convenient overall. We have left the link for booking.com in the description in case you want to check some hotels after this video.
Let's talk about the packing list we put together for your winter trip to Montenegro. Firstly, and most importantly, bring layers. So waterproof jackets, warm jumper, gloves, and proper boots. Waterproof shoes are a must because snow is going to be everywhere and you don't want to end up having soaking wet feet for the rest of your day.
For road trips, pack essentials like a snow brush, not for your teeth, for the car, gloves, and best to also take a power bank.
Cash still goes a long way. Some smaller towns and mountain cafes will not take card. To make it easier, we have created a list on Amazon with everything that we've mentioned and more. So if you do need inspiration, don't forget to check the link in the description. This is everything you need to know when visiting Montenegro during winter. If there is something that we haven't mentioned, please feel free to ask us in the comments.
If you've also reached until this point in the video, you may as well subscribe to the channel so you don't miss amazing videos like this one appearing on the screen.
You still haven't clicked one of them!
And I can tell because you're still here.
Go on!